Howdy, Legendary Voidy here, and today we're going to be talking about a deck that I fought recently in a video that I'll put in the description below, Aerial Bots. We're going to discuss the exact deck list that my sister used to fight against me, and yeah, after this video you should go check out that battle, and see who won. So the first character card that you use in this deck is Silverbolt. He's the aerial bot leader, except he's not a leader. He's an aerial bot plain ranged. In alt mode, he's got bold 1, and when he attacks and flips at least a white, green, whoa, what am I talking about? A white, orange, and blue pip, flip in the bot mode. He's got 2 attacks, 7 health, 1 defense. And in bot mode, he's got 3 attacks, 7 health, 1 defense. And when he flipped to this mode, do 1 damage to an enemy. It's alright. Definitely a good way of dealing damage in a defensive deck like this. Yeah, there's one character. We'll go ahead and flip him out so we can go ahead and start forming Superion. The next character we're going to talk about is Air Raid. He's got no effects in alt mode. He's an aerial bot plain ranged. 3 attack, 8 health, 0 defense. The 0 defense kind of stinks, but a blue deck helps sort of negate that. In bot mode, he's got 4 attack, 8 health, no defense again, and then when this damages an enemy, grab an upgrade on them. Definitely a really good effect. Stats aren't the greatest. He's kind of the main attacker of the aerial bots when they're individuals. But yeah, he is the left arm of Superion. And next we're going to talk about Fireflight. He's more of the tankish part of the deck. He's got Brave, which means enemies have to attack him if able. He's an aerial bot plain ranged. He's got 1 attack, 7 health, 2 defense in bot mode, or alt mode, I apologize. In bot mode, for real this time, he's got 2 attack, 7 health, 2 defense, and while he has 4 more damage counters on him, he's got +1 attack. Probably never comes into play. He's usually going to be the last card you flip, because you're going to want your opponent to attack him, or he's going to be dead, either one of those two. And he is the right leg, right here. And next we have Skydive, who has Tough 2, which is such a great skill in a defensive deck like this. It's an area bot plane and specialist, which we'll get into in just a little bit. He's got 3 attack, 8 health, 1 defense. And the 1 defense doesn't really matter because he's got Tough 2. He's also a specialist in bot mode, 3 attack, 8 health, 2 defense. And when he attacks, repair 1 damage from each of your area bots. This affects, not each of your area bots, one of your area bots, I apologize. This effect doesn't really come into play all that often, because you're usually going to be wanting him to tank hits using Tough 2. But sometimes it can, and sometimes it matters, but usually you'll want to keep him in Tough 2 for most of the game. And he's the right arm. And the last area bot is Alpha Bravo. He's a specialist and a helicopter. He's got 2 attack, 8 health, 1 defense, and when an enemy plane attacks, deal 1 damage to it. This is really good against the mirror, meaning if your opponent's running aerial bots and they stay in plane mode, he's going to deal damage to them for being a plane. It's a little bit ironic, don't you think? In bot mode, he's got 2 attack, 8 health, 1 defense, and Pierce 3. And while usually you're not ever going to be hitting that Pierce 3, there are some cards in this deck that can allow you to hit it via weapon or utility. And he is also a specialist in this mode as well. And he just so happens to be the left leg. Who knew? Now Superion himself is an area bot ranged. Fortunately he's not a plane. That would be kind of weird if he was. He's got 6 attack, 39 health, and 1 defense. He's got bold 1, tough 2, pierce 3. And what we're really concerned about on him is the pierce 3 and tough 2, as this is a defensive deck, and the pierce 3 is definitely going to be used to KO your opponents with huge damage with other pierce cards. And when he is combined, do 3 damage to an enemy. This is also just another way to deal direct damage to your opponent without having to get through their defensive barriers under the weapons. Just kidding, we're going to be talking about the actions. Yeah, I know, I lied to you. I'm sorry. First action, Security Checkpoint. Major staple card in every defensive deck. Each player reveals their hand and scraps all upgrades from it. While that can definitely hurt you, it can be useful sometimes if you just don't have any upgrades in your hand, and you definitely can see your opponent has a huge hand, and you can get rid of some critical cards from their hands. Plus it's got the 2 blue pips, which is definitely useful in a deck like this, but we're only running 2 because I only own 2, so shame. We're also running 2 rapid conversion. This is just another way of flipping to Superion faster, because you have to have everybody in bot mode. This just kind of helps move that along. It's a white pip, so it helps you flip a little bit more, but that's kind of the entire purpose of it. We're also running 3 copies of Pep Talk. It's got a blue pip, and let me move my thumb. It says draw 2 cards simply. Draw support. It's probably one of the best draw support we have in the game because it doesn't make you discard to draw. It doesn't have a special condition. It's not a star card. And it's got a blue pip. Definitely helps out, and you definitely need the cards in this kind of a deck. We're running 3 of those. And this is one of the major cards of the deck, Aerial Bot Enigma. It's got a green pip, as all Enigmas do. If you have Superion on the battlefield, deal 1 damage to each enemy, making it just an armed hovercraft as an action. And if you have 5 aerial bots in bot mode on the battlefield or in your KO area, combine them into Superion. Kind of a necessary card in a deck like this, but we're running 2, just so that when you finally get Superion out, you can just deal quick damage to your opponent using the Enigma's actual effect. We're running 1 copy of Heavy Handed. It's a blue pip. It helps in that regard. And then one of your characters gets +2 attack until the end of the turn. And while it's attacking an enemy this turn that has fewer stars in it, it has Pierce 4. Definitely useful whenever you finally combine up into Superion, as he's 25 stars. Meaning anything that's less than that, you have Pierce 4 and +2 attack on. And the Pierce 4 is definitely useful because you're going to be needing that to actually deal the damage as a part of this deck, because there's only 1 orange card in this deck, and it's definitely used just for Pierce. So as you can tell, Pierce is kind of a major role in a deck like this. Plus I think that's Superion on the actual card. Pretty sure it is. And then we're running 3 copies of Vaporize, which simply says scrap an enemy upgrade. It's basically the blue copy version of ramming speed. Basically just to get rid of your opponent's Pierce cards, so they'll be unable to deal any damage to you because of all the blue pips you're flipping. It also helps get rid of your opponent's force fields and the like, so you can actually deal enough Pierce damage to KO them quickly. We're running 3 of those because I love this card a lot. The next action we're playing is the opposite of heavy-handed. It's the bigger they are. The bigger they are says that one of your characters is +2 attack when it's attacking an enemy that has more stars in it, whereas heavy-handed says fewer stars. But it gets Pierce 4 +2 attack. Really good. Once again, I cannot stress how important Pierce is to a deck like this. And I only own 1 of these, otherwise it definitely would run more. And the last action we're playing is Surprise Attack. More Pierce, because why not? One of your characters gets Pierce 3 until the end of the turn. Yeah, more Pierce, let's do it. And that's the last of the actions. So the first weapon we're playing is Handheld Blaster, another staple in blue decks like this. It gives Bold 1, which you'll never use to actually do what it's made to do. But the double blue pips is basically what it's used for, and we're running 3 of them just for the blue pips. We're also running 2 copies of Noble's Blaster, put on Autobots only. While it's attacking a Decepticon, it has Pierce 2 and gives the character +2 attack. It's a blue and a green pip, definitely allowing you to use it more efficiently. And while you'll probably only sometimes, I would say half the time, but there's only 2 factions, so it only makes sense. Only half the time be fighting Decepticons. You know, the other half, it still gives you +2 attack, and it's a green pip, so it's easily accessible. And we're only running 2 of them for that reason, just because I feel like it's not exactly necessary in most cases. We're also running 1 copy of Drill Arms. It's a blue pip that gives you +1 attack, and when you put on a character, scrap an enemy armor if you can't draw a card. Just another way to get rid of enemy force fields. And gives you +1 attack, so Alpha Bravo can get his Pierce 3, and if you have too much Pierce and need more attack, this is just another way to get that on Superion and the like. We're also running 1 copy of Aerial Bot Formation, and while I know this card isn't exactly necessary in an aerial bot deck. It's definitely useful for things like Alpha Bravo, again, who needs more attack for his Pierce. You can only put on aerial bots, and the upgraded character has +1 attack for each of the other tapped aerial bots. And if Alpha Bravo is your last one, and you put it on him, he gets +4 attack because you have 4 other tapped aerial bots. So, you know, it's a good card, and it's a blue pip, so might as well play it. We also run 1 copy of Piercing Luster because we need more Pierce. Playing 1 copy of Multi-Tool. When you put this on a specialist, you can play an upgrade. I run a lot of upgrades in this deck, and I know a lot of people do not like this card, but it gives +1 attack and lets you play one of these many upgrades that are absolutely necessary to a deck like this. And for that reason, I'm really only running 1. I would like to run more, but I can't really see myself playing more than 1 of those per game. We're also playing 2 Armed Hovercraft. When you put this on a ranged character, do 1 damage to each enemy. 3 of the characters that you play in an aerial bot deck are ranged, so you'll be able to play this pretty often. Gives you +1 attack, and is a blue pip. So overall, I'd say this card is very useful in a blue deck like this, being able to deal damage to enemies directly and all. And the last weapon we're playing is the 1 orange pip I run in this deck, Thermal Weaponry. When the upgraded character is attacking as Pierce 1, that attack for each blue pip you flip. And based on how many blues are in this deck, if you're able to draw this card and play it, you're going to have like Pierce 3 or 4 every attack. It's actually amazing the few times you can actually play it, but definitely playable. On to the armors. We're running 1 copy of Blast Shield for our first armor. It gives you +2 defense, has 1 blue pip, and after the upgraded character defends, scrap this card. It's alright, gives you +2 defense, definitely useful in a defensive deck like this. But I wouldn't really play more than just the 1, so yeah, we're just playing the 1. We're also playing 3 copies of the best card in the game right now, Force Field. Definitely brought this card up a couple times. If the upgraded character would take attack damage, instead scrap the... Oh, wow, I can't even read anymore. Redo. If the upgraded character would take 5 or more attack damage, instead scrap this card and it takes 4 instead. So, for example, if you're getting hit by Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend for like, let's say 12 damage, you're only defending 4. Instead of taking 8 damage, you would take 4. And this card goes to the scrap pile. And that's so good for keeping your guys alive, and definitely can help deflect attacks if you don't want someone attacking them. If it just misses a KO, it's so satisfying seeing the look on your opponent's face as soon as you drop it down. And we're running 3 of those just because I love how good this card is. We're running 2 copies of Evasive Maneuvers, which gives you Tough 3, and after the upgraded character defends, scrap this card. Just another way to keep your characters alive by giving them Tough. Definitely useful, even if it is a one-time thing, gives you a blue pip. But, yeah, my boys at Rick and Rule, seeing Springer on here. If it's not Springer, I'm going to cry, because someone's going to point that out to me. But, Evasive Maneuvers, lots of Tough, good card. And the last... I want to move this so you can see. And the last armor we're playing, Reinforced Plating. Slightly worse version of Evasive Maneuvers, just Tough 2, just to help, I don't know, maybe defend more? Maybe, I guess that's what Tough does? I'm not quite sure. I think that's what Tough does, maybe. But yeah, you don't have to scrap it after you've defended, so it's definitely a good card to play. I'm only running 2 just because I feel 3 is a bit excessive, because you're already running a whole bunch of defensive cards like Force Field, Evasive Maneuvers, and then Skydive has Tough 2. It's just a bit excessive to run 3, but we're running 2, because Reinforced Plating is a good card. Our first utility is Field Communicator. This is a white pip, and when you put it on a specialist, scrap the top card of your deck. You may play that card. It gives you +1 attack as well. Now, a lot of people don't like this card, mainly because you could flip something completely unhelpful like a handheld blaster. But my argument to that is, it's 3 out of 40 cards. I mean, what are the odds that you're actually gonna flip a handheld blaster, which is completely useless in a deck like this, because I only run 1 orange, and again, what are the odds of flipping that? basically, it just gives you a free card to play once you put it on Specialist, and since we run 2, I decided to run 2 Field Communicators. I also opted to play Security Console. When the upgraded character defends, draw a card, then plan 1. This is just a good way to get double blue pips like Handheld Blaster out of your hand and put it on top of your deck to be able to defend better and keep your guys alive longer. Plus, if you don't have anything in your hand worth putting on top of your deck, it's just a free card you draw whenever you defend, because plan is a may. You don't have to do it. And for those reasons, I chose run 2 of them. And the last card in the deck is one copy of Inverted. This is a white and green pip, and whenever the upgraded character is battling, each orange pip you flip becomes a blue, and each blue you flip becomes an orange. This is basically saying all the blue pips you flip whenever attacking become go towards your attack. Whenever you're defending, all your orange pips go to your defense. That's basically what it's saying. And this is just a good way to get Superion more attack and let him attack a little bit more effectively without using Pierce. But yeah, one Inverted. And that's the deck. What did you guys think of it? What cards do you think I should take out, and what cards do you think I should add? Put your thoughts in the comments below, and, we'll probably keep doing more of these, because the last one I uploaded, which was the Dreadwing one, did pretty good on the first day. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to whack that like and subscribe button, and have a phenomenal day. Peace.